Hey everyone, Roger here from Master Car Experts YouTube channel. Let me show you what I'm up to today. I have the fuel tank out on my Dodge Ram. Definitely a fun project on the ground. The issue I was having is when I filled up with fuel, I would get a leak right under the vehicle of raw fuel, and you could smell it. I thought it was the ring that locked this pump down. But it ended up being, if you can see right here, and I pulled the pump out, it's cracked right here, so the pump itself needs to be replaced. I also cleaned up the locking rings and sprayed them with a rust reformer, and then I'm going to just hit these with a paint just to help prevent a little bit of extra rust from forming. I picked up a ring from AutoZone. But truthfully, this ring, which I thought it was, this ring was faulty. There's nothing wrong with this ring. I'm actually clean this up and reuse it. It actually feels a lot more robust than the one that you can get from AutoZone. All right, let me show you what I've been working on. So you can see I did not undercoat my truck, which I really should have, being in New England. So what I'm doing is I'm working on descaling and then spraying everything with a rust reformer, which changes the rust areas to basically a paintable surface. And I'm gonna now undercoat it. So I have some undercoat coming, and I'm going to try wool wax. And that's where the fuel tank was. Thankfully, I was able to unbolt it. I just sprayed it for a couple of days. The studs that held the fuel tank straps in place, and I went ahead and actually redid the straps. And I forgot I hung them on the fence where this is like a walkway to go to the school. Thankfully they're still here, but I went ahead and sprayed these down with the rust reformer after taking off most of the surface rust, and these look really nice. So that rust reformer actually does a really good job. So this is what I'm using right here, Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer. Instantly converts rust to a protected paintable surface. Now I'm not going to paint all this, but after using the rust reformer, which will hopefully deactivate a lot of the rust that is oxidizing from oxygen, I'm going to spray this with wool wax and then protect it. Now this is like a descaler that you can get, which is basically like an impact driver, which is actually in here with these, needles on the front, and using air that basically vibrates and it takes off all of the scale rust. Now, if you do live in New England, if I buy a new truck in the future, which I'm hoping that this is going to still last me quite a long time, I would absolutely undercoat it right away. I mean, this is relatively high quality stainless steel for the exhaust that they use, and it's actually rusting out just from the crap that they use on our roads nowadays. Now, if you had time, you could take the bed off and you could use a sandblaster or a bead blaster and really get this down to like clean metal and then spray everything again. I don't have that kind of time to do at home. Something like that. But if you have access to that, that would be a really great way to recover a old truck like this. Well, I'm going to try the rust reformer and the wool wax, and I'll have to update you at the end of the season to see how well it held up. I'll get another few shots of when I'm done prepping, and then when I spray the wool wax on, and then we'll see how it holds up over the winter. I bought enough to do my X5 as well, so I'm going to take care of the X5, but right now, got some work to do on this old Dodge Ram. This is a 2010 Dodge Ram that has a few, I would say, minor issues. All right, time to fire up the air compressor and get to work. Just some quick notes about removing a fuel tank in case you're interested. That's the studs right there, right? So I sprayed them and soaked them, and then I used a jack with a piece of wood to support the fuel tank, and then I went ahead and backed off the nuts that were holding those in place. And then what you want to do is you want to back it off, screw it back in, back it off, screw it back in, back it off, screw it back in, repeat, 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 until you can walk that down without breaking that stud. That stud is probably welded into that cross frame right there. So you don't want to break that off. That is your supports. And then the supports go into those T brackets, like right there. So they just hook in that T bracket. You lift up your bracket, and then you can get your fuel tank down once you disconnect all the connections. All right, time to tackle some more rust. Hope everyone has a great day. What kind of weird, crazy project you got going on? Let me know.